Hello, and welcome to The Artist Pivot, a weekly conversation with artists about their current pivot, past pivots, and every pivot in between. I am your host, Ayana Major Bay, an actress who wants to educate, empower, and celebrate artists so they have no option but to thrive. On this episode, I am joined by aerialist and dancer Chance Hill. He has a BFA from Southeast Missouri State University and is a former dancer with the Chicago Repertory Ballet. He has also been a dancer acrobat for Streb Extreme Action Dance Company and a dancer aerialist vocalist for Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. We discuss how he made a pivot from dentistry to dance in college, how early on in his career he felt fulfilled, and that no one should feel like they're turning their back on the arts by finding a job in a different industry right now. Here's our conversation. Chance, my dear Chance, how are you?
I'm doing well, Ayana. It's so good to hear and get to talk with you.
Yes, the same with you. Trying to catch you. You know, you got a new little schedule here, so I got to catch up with you, friend. I got to keep up with you.
And that is the gospel truth. We are always busy.
Always busy, always busy. So how have you been in this madness and this craziness and time of COVID?
You know, I have been well. There are some of us out there that have not been, and I'm thankful that I'm able to continue working and keeping my health to a satisfactory level and staying happy.
Ooh, I like that. And staying happy. That's a good
Exactly.
one. That's a good one. Yeah. So I know that you made a big pivot this past,
Absolutely.
this past year. So tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. So I was working with Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines as an aerialist dancer. I was the aerial coordinator for Symphony of the Seas. On March 20th, they told us, hey, we have to send you guys home, considering the pandemic. And so I came home, and my first thought was, Chance, what are you going to do? Like, you've got to work. And you know me, I went to school for dentistry, not performing, and I came out as a performer. So I've been always trying to figure out a way I can get back in the healthcare field. And, the world needs healthcare workers right now. So this is the perfect moment for me to find my way in. So I've been interviewing and applying to several different jobs, and thank the Lord that I was able to land a job in the healthcare field as an imaging specialist.
Okay. Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You made a big pivot. And I know that you actually moved to do that job, didn't you? You moved to a different state.
Absolutely. So working on the contract with Royal Caribbean, I would be living on the ship. So I had left my apartment in New York City, and I wasn't homeless, but I had my house taken care of. But when they told us we were going home, I had to think, like, what am I going to do? So as a performer, we're used to traveling around. So I stayed with a friend for a while, waiting it out, hoping that we would come back sooner than later. And then, a couple months in, I was like, you know what, we're not going to. So I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. I applied to several different healthcare fields. I knew that in Atlanta, they have a big healthcare industry. And so I knew that if nothing, I could find something to do to at least get on the front lines and help, or be an imager like I am doing now. I just wanted to get my feet wet, and I'm fortunate that I have been doing so.
And would you say that this pivot that you were like, okay, I have to do something came immediately? Or did it take a couple weeks for you to go, oh, wait a minute, I'm not going to be an aerialist anymore on the ship? Or, like, was it immediate? Okay, next day you were like, I'm gonna change, I'm gonna pivot, I'm gonna reevaluate and adapt. Or did it take you a while to go, okay, I need to do something?
It actually happened pretty quick for me. Once they told us that, I was like, okay, Chance, what are you gonna do? So then I actually applied to a couple different schools for pharmacy, and I began working on that, and that was what I thought I would be doing. But while I was doing pharmacy school, I was like, okay, what can I what can how can I work? How can I supplement my income while I'm in school and slash waiting on this contract? So not only was there one pivot, but there were multiple pivots at this point in time, because now I was trying to go into pharmacy, then I was going to imaging,
Yeah. Yeah. So yours was immediate.
Absolutely.
Yours was like, okay, pivot now. That's, you didn't even kind of give yourself time to grieve or be in that space of, oh man, I lost this. You were like, I lost this. That's great. What's next?
Precisely. I mean, that's how we take it as performers when we go to auditions. We're like, okay, well, I wasn't right for this job if you didn't make it through the audition, or if you didn't get the gig. Then the next thing you're doing is you're looking up the next audition, or you're trying to make it to the next audition if you're in New York City, trying to run to that, get to that train and go to the next audition. And that's exactly what I was doing.
Right. That makes sense. Now let's talk about, because I know you mentioned you actually went to school for dentistry, but came out as a performer. So that is a whole entire pivot. Explain more about
Exactly.
that.
When I first went to school, I was in child care and guidance, and I wanted to be a child psychiatrist. Then I started taking classes in that, and I was like, you know what? I loved going to the dentist. And I was like, no one loves going to the dentist, but apparently I did. And so I was like, I want to see what it's like in that field. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to try to switch to that and take some classes in dentistry. But my roommate, he, in college, Mr. Jojo Ramos, he was in the musical theater department, and they were having their like open house for something, and he didn't want to go. And I was like, Jojo, please go to your open house. And he's like, nah. And I was like, okay, well, what if I go to your open house? Will you go? And he's just like, yeah, okay. So then they asked if I'd like to dance, or if they asked if anybody would like to dance. And I was like, yeah, I like to dance, not realizing that it meant technical dance. And then they asked me to come to class. Went to class the next day, I believe that was a Tuesday or Wednesday. I met them, and then the class was Thursday morning at 8 o'clock. Now, I, in my college career, took one 8 o'clock class, and it was that one. Um, and so then I just kept going to class, and I'm sure, as you can understand, as being a performer, we have rehearsals, we have class, we have, don't let there be another side art project that we can work on. Not only was I dancing, I was doing musical theater, Little Shop of Horrors, Carousel. I was doing so many different things, and it just was so consuming that I needed to switch from being in the dentistry program to a Bachelor of Fine Arts in dance, so that I can give it more of my attention. And which is so interesting, because that's, people don't realize that we have a lot on our plate as performers, and they don't realize that we don't have the time to do these other things, but we make it work.
So you're right. People don't know what performers go through, especially when we're in school. Our plates are very full. And so when you did leave college, you said you left as a performer. So what was your life like when you left college?
When I left college, I didn't have a job. I was petrified, because I was like, Chance, you change your major and you don't even know what you're going to do with it. But I knew that I was passionate about it, so I knew that it was going to work. Um, like I said, I got several different auditions. If it didn't work out, I was like, well, let's find the next audition. And that's what I did, until I landed a gig at the Chicago Repertory Ballet, which took me, I graduated in December, and I started that job in March, end of March, and beginning of April.
And that was your first job out of college?
First job.
So when you did leave college, did you, even though you knew, okay, I don't have a job right now, I switched my major, I don't have a job, but I know this is going to work. Did you know, okay, I'm going to do musical theater, or I'm going to focus on more on ballet, or I'm going to focus more on jazz or contemporary dance? Did you have a particular style you were focusing on, or you were just open to I just want to be a dancer, and then, Chicago Repertory Ballet came into your life?
It's a very interesting question because I find that so many people are, especially in the dance industry, are focused on a certain type of dance or focused on a certain, genre of whatever they're wanting to work in. But you have to think, as I was graduating college, I had only been in this world for 2.5 years, 3 years maybe. So I was so fresh that I was open to anything. Like I was just like, I just want to dance, whatever it is. Get me there. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but it's gonna work somehow. And that's what I
Mm-hmm.
kept going with. And then I ended up at the Chicago Repertory Ballet.
Mm-hmm. So how long were you at the Chicago Repertory Ballet?
I was at the Chicago Repertory Ballet for one season. Interestingly enough, when I was there, Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines contacted me and halfway through the season asking me if I could come to work for them. Now, I had auditioned for Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines in college before I graduated, and I had already told them, I was like, listen, like, I would love to take this job, but I must finish college first before I take a professional
Mm-hmm.
gig. And they were like, okay, great. We'll keep you in our contact list. And, you know, I was a firm believer. I was like, when people tell you that, they don't really mean it. They're not going to contact you. But I was proven wrong. They contacted me, I believe it was 7 months later, and they asked me if I would work for them. And the Chicago Repertory Ballet and Royal Caribbean, the last week I was working at Chicago Repertory Ballet was the first week that Royal Caribbean wanted me to work. So I was so grateful that they allowed me to miss that first week and come the second week and still be a performer with Royal Caribbean. So that was a crazy time, but they were so completely different jobs that I was so happy.
Right. Right. So you got to experience the ballet world, and then you went into the cruise ship industry, which is
Cruise ship, jazz, exactly.
it's a whole nother ballpark. Now, did you start as an aerialist with them, or was it a dancer and then you moved into being an aerialist?
At the audition for them, they had asked me if I'd like to fly, and I said absolutely. I don't know what that means, but let's try it. And they so my first contract, they said I was strong enough, and they hired me on as an aerialist. So I came in as an aerialist dancer, and we had an aerial show in the Centrum. It was so fun. I remember like just thinking like this is what you said you were going to do. You said you were going to dance and like experience all kinds of different dance, and this is what I'm doing. And I was just so fulfilled already so early in my career.
Oh, that's amazing. Like you said, you were fulfilled already so early in your career. And y'all, I must say, Chance is right. The strength you need to be an aerialist is no joke. No
Precisely.
joke whatsoever. And Chance, that I respect you so much. I've watched you
Oh,
on the
thank you.
Silks, I've watched you on everything. And, he was our aerialist captain on our contract when we did Hairspray together. And I used to try to go to what did you used to call it? What did the dancers have to do? The
Aerial conditioning.
aerial conditioning. Y'all. I think I went to aerial conditioning twice?
Something like
And
that.
I
But
said,
it's
"Kids,
it's something.
I love y'all." It's something. I was like, "I love y'all." But my contract says I don't need to do this, so Imma just get strapped into this two-point harness and get lowered in as a cute little bell, and I can hear the bells, and then you lift me back up, and that's it. Because the strength that y'all have to do that aerial, ooh, yes. Chance, yes. I respect
Mhm.
it so
Thank
much.
you. It's something.
It's something, honey. It's beautiful, but the work y'all put in, ooh, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
It's so interesting because, like I said, as I was so fulfilled early in my career. I mean, as a fresh newbie, I was working in a ballet company. That I felt like that was just unheard of. That I would be a part of a ballet company. I was a collaborating artist. I was in like a lot of the numbers in the show. Just enjoying myself. And then I got to go to Royal Caribbean where I became an aerialist that was dancing and production shows. And then I got to meet you guys and do a musical that, directed by Broadway choreographers and
Mm-hmm.
directors, West End director. And like, it was just so fulfilling every time, but I had already been fulfilled. You know what I mean? And that's just so unheard of.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. That you've been fulfilled over these last couple years that I guess would you say that this pivot that you have made back into the healthcare industry actually,
Hmm.
you haven't felt like you are turning your back on your performing career?
Not at all, because not only what have I been fulfilled with my performing career, and will I continue to be fulfilled with my career as a performer, but I think that we all have dreams and goals, and they don't have to be set. It's kind of like what you were asking me earlier. You were saying, did I know specifically what type of dance or what I wanted to do with dance? No, I had no idea. I just knew that I wanted to dance, just
Mhm.
like I know that I want to work in the healthcare field. But it's not,
Mhm.
I'm fulfilling that dream as well, and I'm still happy, and I can't wait to get back to performing. I don't feel like I turned my back. I feel like I'm building up the creative juice that I need to come back with a bang.
Got it. Got it. So, what would you say to those artists who are having a hard time and maybe seeing a pivot into a different industry as turning their back on performing? Which I agree with you, it's not turning your back,
Mhm.
but to those who do feel that way.
Some do think that, absolutely. Um, I'm really, really glad that you asked me that question, because it's so important to know that our resumes. So I'll talk about our resumes really quickly.
Mhm.
So the job that I have, I'm a baby imaging specialist at a technology company, and
Mhm.
what I do on a day-to-day basis is I get to see these beautiful babies, whether they're happy or sad or mad or whatever the case may be, hungry, sleepy, I get to see them all. And I'm getting to take their image. And babies, they love animation. So I get to animate, I get to act, I get to dance, I get to sing even to these babies,
Mm.
and utilize that part of my performance that I've, built on all these years
Mhm.
for this job. Now, I say that to say that is why I got the job. My resume, I did not do away with my performance career on my resume. I kept it
Mhm.
on there, even though I knew I was going to a technology company that has nothing to do with performing. I still kept my performance on my professional resume for healthcare. And I think that that's so important, because some of us tend to, and myself as well, tend to think that you can't add that stuff to this kind of resume. But really, in all actuality, you can. It's something that you've done, and you should be proud of it, and you should be able to showcase it. And that's what I did on my resume, and that is what got me this job. And my piece of advice is that for us artists that are out there trying to, find a job, or, feeling like they've turned their back on their art, is that it's okay to use your art in whatever job you're doing. I do every day. I put on a Broadway production for these babies every day, and that
Mhm.
it helps me feel like, get more excited about coming back to the show. And lucky for me, they were looking for someone that is animated, because they need animation, you know.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
don't sell yourself short on your resume, is what I would say.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, so if you are looking for a job that is outside the industry, include everything that you've done in the industry on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, when we do come back, what do you hope our industry learns from everything that's happening right now?
I've been thinking about this question, and this is a really hard one for me to answer. I think that I don't know much about the union for the actors, but I think that it really has a lot of pivoting, as you will, to do, because
Mhm.
our industry is literally it's giving us an opportunity to start over, to bring in so much more diversity, figure out where our goals are and what we're showcasing. We have such a historical time right now that is perfect for art and literature, and it's so great to use that to bring forth a new life to this world that we've kind of lost right now. I just hope that it brings diversity and inclusion and consideration for all of us, and especially this hard time.
Yeah, you're right. And that our industry not just says, oh, yeah, we're inclusive and we are considerate of everybody, but really is. Comes back
Absolutely.
inclusive and compassionate and
And learn.
open. Yes, yes. Looks back and learns from, oh, maybe we didn't do that well, or maybe, oh, we're, touting this word diversity, but looking back and going, ooh, that wasn't diverse at all. So now how do
Absolutely.
we change?
And maybe we did do something very well, but we forgot to include. We forgot this, so we could do
Mhm.
it better.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with you. And it's also going to be on us as the artist to hold people accountable.
Accountable.
Once they say, "Oh, I'm
Absolutely.
gonna be inclusive, we're gonna have diversity." Okay, great, that's what you said. Now I'm gonna look to see if you did it, and if not,
Mhm.
I'm gonna hold you accountable. I'm gonna say, didn't you say that you were gonna be inclusive?
Mhm.
What happened?"
Absolutely.
You know?
I just think it's so important to include your resume with the fact that you are a dancer, you are a singer, you're an actor, because it's needed throughout every industry. So there is a place for
Mhm.
us all in this hard time
Mhm.
when we can't be on the stage.
You're right. I agree with you. It's finding the place where you fit right now.
Absolutely.
It's
And it's not easy.
my home has always been the stage. Yeah, you're right, Chance, it's not easy. It's not. This has taken away what we've known
Hmm.
and the places we've felt comfortable, which I know for both of us was the stage. Like, this is my home. This is where I feel at peace. But now it's finding your new place because everybody does have a place right now.
Precisely. Furthermore, I really think that those people that are not performers, that are in very different fields, it's their opportunity to embrace us,
Hmm.
because we need work. We want to help. We want to be doing something, you know, and it's their opportunity to embrace us in their worlds and give us a chance. Ha, give us a chance. So, you know, like I said, I'm happiness is the utmost important right now. Happiness and healthiness.
Yeah. Oh, Chance, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing all of your pivots because you've, had a couple. You went to school for dentistry, changed to a dance major,
Mhm.
came out of college, then went to the ballet, then became an aerialist on a cruise ship, and now you're back into healthcare as a baby imager. So, honey, you've had all the pivots.
Listen, and you know what? You don't even realize they're pivots.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, you don't even realize they're pivots. Chance, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. And one last thing that I need to say to you before I let you go is
Mhm.
I acknowledge you, I celebrate you, and I uplift you.
Wow, thank you so much. That's powerful.
You're so welcome, my friend. You're so welcome. I will talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. You have a good one.
You too, darling. Chance, thank you so much for sharing, my friend. Your past pivots have been so inspirational. You are truly a master of reevaluating and adapting. With you being so fulfilled early on in your career, it proves that you can and will be fulfilled if you are doing something that you love. Chance, thank you again, and thank you for tuning in. I'll speak to you soon.